So in your math packet, you have two different pages. There's one that says comparison problems, addition and subtraction, and one that says comparison problems, division and multiplication. If I were you, I would rip both of those pages off. That's what I'm going to do. Because as important as they are, you're not going to need both of them at the same, well, sometimes you'll need both of them at the same time, but basically you're not going to need this one today, the division and multiplication one. So I'm just going to set that to the side. I'm not going to lose it. I'm just going to set it to the side. And this way, when I want to use my addition and subtraction one, I can actually look at it since it's ripped off now. Okay. So the amount more or less is called the difference in something. In some problems, the difference is not given, and you have to find it. And in other problems, the lesser, the greater amount is not given. Okay, that's a really fancy way of saying we're going to be learning about comparison problems. Sometimes you know the amount, and sometimes you don't. So, Mai has 9 apples and 12 plums. How many more plums than apples does Mai have? How many fewer apples than plums does Mai have? Okay. They did a little comparison chart here. I think that this makes a lot of sense. So it's saying she has 12 plums, she has 9 apples, and here's the difference for us. How many more plums does she have? The answer would be here. And how many fewer apples does she have? Again, the answer would be here. That's our difference. I think it makes a lot of sense to draw these comparison bars. However, you might not agree. So instead I made this poster for you. And I will just tell you right now, if the problem says how many more or how many fewer, you have to subtract. Always, 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 100% of the time, you are going to subtract if it says how many more or how many fewer. But if it doesn't say that, you have to use your brain. I drew a little picture of a brain and said, please use me, because a lot of times people just want me to give them clue words, and that's what I'm doing up here. I am giving you some clue words, but you really need to use your brain. So ask yourself, what numbers in the comparison do I know? Write it down, draw yourself a picture, and here's my little comparison model. So for example, in a problem like this one, I scored 72 points in a carnival game. My friend scored 25 fewer points than me. How many points did my friend score? So I drew out a little picture here. I know that I scored this big amount, 72, and my friend scored less than me, 25 less to be exact. So how much is this amount? Well, to get that, I'm going to subtract. Again, it's a little challenging, but we will draw pictures, we'll figure it out. So just be on the lookout for it saying how many more and how many fewer, and that's going to tell you to subtract. So this says to draw comparison bars for each problem. I'm not going to make you draw them unless you need them, okay? Then write and solve an equation and discuss other equations you could use. All right, a nursery has 70 rose bushes and 50 tea tree bushes. How many fewer tea tree bushes than rose bushes are at the nursery? Okay, it has that word, how many fewer. How many fewer? Right there. So it is going to be subtract. So 70 minus 50 gives me 20. Now let's make sure we label. What's it asking for? How many fewer tea tree bushes? I don't know what a tea tree bush is. I gotta be honest. No clue. And then here it says Dan wants to plant 30 trees. He has dug 21 holes. How many more holes does Dan need to dig? Well, lucky us. It says how many more. So we subtract. So 30 minus 21, which I just know off the top of my head is 9. And 9 what? How many more holes? By the way, I forgot to remind you, but you should be taking notes as you follow along. Okay, this is one where it doesn't give us keywords, so we're going to have to figure it out. Kyle and Mackenzie are playing a computer game. Kyle scored 7,628 points. Mackenzie scored 2,085 fewer points than Kyle. How many points did Mackenzie score? Now, you might just know off the top of your head if it's add or subtract. But I'm going to challenge you to draw a picture for this one. So I have Kyle's points and I have Mackenzie's points. Kyle scored 7,628 points, and Mackenzie scored 2,085 fewer than Kyle. So her number is less than Kyle's. It's less than his, right? Because she scored fewer than his. So if she scored that much fewer, then it's going to be subtract. So 7,628 minus 2,085. 8 minus 5 is 3. I'm going to borrow here. I got 5,543 points. The school fair fundraiser made $632 more from baked goods than from games. The school fair made $935 from games. How much money did the school fair make from baked goods? Again, you might think, oh, I know it's subtraction, or I know it's addition. But why don't we just try drawing it out? So let's see, we're trying to figure out how much they made from baked goods and how much they made from games. So this tells us right here, the school fair made $935 from games. We know that amount. We know that it's $935. And it says that it made $632 more from baked goods than from games. This baked goods amount is going to be even bigger. And how much more? $632 more. So to figure out how much it made from baked goods, we're going to need to add $935 and $632. So I got 1,567. What is it? How much money? Money. Oh, I'm just gonna put a dollar sign. Oh, and I've been forgetting. As someone really smart told me I need to circle my answer. All right, here a college football stadium in Michigan seats 109,901 people. A college football stadium in Louisiana seats 92,542 people. How many fewer people does the stadium in Louisiana seat than the stadium in Michigan? Okay, remember, if it says how many more or how many fewer, you subtract. So I'm just going to take my bigger number and subtract from my smaller number. And, oh boy, I have to do a lot of borrowing here. So I'm going to, I can't do 1 minus 2, I can't do 0 minus 4, so I'm going to borrow from here. This becomes an 8, this becomes a 10, then it becomes a 9, this becomes an 11. So 11 minus 2 is going to be 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. 9 minus 2 is 7. And I could do a bunch of borrowing here, but I know that this is just 10 minus 9, which is 1. So my answer is 17,359, and what is my label going to be? How many fewer people? All right, and last one. The soccer team drilled for 150 minutes last week. The team drilled for 30 minutes more than it scrimmaged. For how long did the team scrimmage? Okay, this one doesn't say how many more, how many fewer. I'm going to draw us a picture. We have how long it drilled for and how long it scrimmaged for. Now, I wrote here that you want to know what numbers in the comparison do I know. Think, what number do I know? I know how long it drilled for. They told me that. It drilled for 150 minutes. So 150. That's what I do know. But then it says that it drilled for 30 minutes more than it scrimmaged. So this number is 30 bigger than whatever amount they scrimmaged. So it is going to be subtract 150 minus 30, which gives me 120. And 120 what? It's saying for how long. Now I'm not going to say it's 120 longs. It's 120 minutes. All right, you are going to try to do this addition and subtraction comparison on your own. It's just 6 problems, and I wrote you a note. Remember that if it says how many fewer or how many more, you should always subtract. Otherwise, you should draw a picture. Ask yourself which numbers in the comparison you do know and write those down first. Okay? All right, again, you can use this picture. That's going to be really helpful for you. Let me know if you have any questions. You've got this.